Make sure the schools.
Yeah.
All right, we are live. So we'll go ahead and start on the agenda for our StudEx meeting. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of our last meeting? I see a motion from Angela, second from Holly. Is there anyone who objects to the minutes of our last meeting? All right, seeing none, this motion clearly passes. And so we'll now move on to the next item on our agenda, which is approval of the committee of the whole legislation. Did everyone have a chance to read this legislation or? Okay, yeah,
I have a question.
sure.
So if we don't approve these, it means they won't go to this cycle and I think they're going to the council next cycle.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
And we approve some individually and then some not.
Yeah, we can. Actually, we would in terms of like time sensitivity of like all of the legislation. So for the first one here, we have a bill to fund the Muslim Student Association. Zachariah, did you want to touch on why they need this funding with a quick turnaround?
Well, they need it by 3 of 8, so I guess that was 8.
Yeah.
I remember when that was March.
Okay. Sadie?
Motion to approve this.
All right.
I think.
Yeah, second, anyone? And second, all right, all right. Is there anyone who objects to moving this bill forward to the Students' Assembly? Motion carries, all right. And next item on our agenda we have here is the bill to fund the Model United Nations for their Chicago conference on the 30th of March.
Question.
Yes.
Did we find out about the hotel room? I know that was a big question.
Yeah, I reached out and they're gonna speak on it.
Okay.
Do we think this bill is time sensitive?
No, because it's the 30th.
But they're both there.
No.
Yeah.
So motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Do I see a second? Second from Angela. All right. Is there anyone who objects to moving this bill forward to the assembly? Motion carries. All right. Next bill, a bill to fund the Hygiene Club. Hugie.
I don't know why.
Motion to wait, motion to approve because it's on February 20th.
Yeah. And very small totals. Yeah. Motion to approve from Holly. Do I have a second? Second from Angela. All right. Is there anyone who objects to this matter being put into the assembly? Motion carries. All right. Huh?
It's not.
The next one is a bill to fund Jayhawk Motorsports.
I have a
Yes.
question for this. So, number one, it's a lot of money, and so I think it needs to be debated properly, and I feel like with the amount of things that we have to do next Wednesday, I would prefer to push this back to go through another council, not just finance, especially because we funded them $5,000 last cycle, and they also got $9,000 we've got. I feel like this needs to go through 2 councils and not just through us.
I don't think that's fair when it was heavily debated.
No, she's saying that it doesn't seem like it's overtime sensitive. So she feels like students shouldn't have ultimate authority on it.
Yeah.
Helps through other consultation.
Like, I don't think we should have authority instead of another council.
Since this one doesn't have a marketing piece.
And especially because it's a lot of money.
It's because the deadline is not that.
What is it?
Like they're racing in April or May and they have to order these parts. This is the thing where like when this didn't get on the deadline late last week, they're like shit.
That we really needed. Okay, well, okay.
That's my argument.
Well, and I do have a question on the legislation. It says 1,500 rule mandates that this group be funded a max amount of 5,000.
That's why I think it's a problem and it should go for 2 councils. Because the rules were suspended. I think it's a really bad precedent to keep suspending rules.
Yeah.
in Senate, I think it looks awful. And it's allowing for certain groups to take a lot of money and having other groups that aren't even asking for anything, considering such a large amount, and they get, I just don't like. I don't think so.
Would you want to make a formal objection for
Yeah.
like moving forward? All right, so now it seems we'll have some like debate on this. Is there anyone who'd like to make a speech, or we want to go directly to a vote?
I would think pros.
Pro
Or
speech,
not.
Not frequently negative.
Sadie?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So for StudEx, like, is the question, some people, is this time sensitive or not,
Yes.
or can we object to it more than that?
It's usually just time sensitivity if StudEx is going through it, because that's the only thing we as a council are like looking into. So if we look into, it would be procedures from we act as a student council, not amending during. Where's time sensitiveness earlier?
Yeah, dissolution.
Oh, compromise, yeah.
Maybe.
Command what?
Maybe you can make that like.
That searched nothing.
Just kidding. It's,
I'm trying to, page 13.
What if we want to
Improve.
Ooh.
Madison lives in.
Oh, yeah, the legislation. Okay, so council generated legislation shall be reviewed by StudEx to determine whether it is time sensitive. If it's deemed time sensitive, it's placed on the assembly meeting. If not, then it should be added. So yeah, the only thing we're determining is the time sensitivity. Yeah,
Well, I guess then I have to extend it because I think it is time sensitive from what,
Yeah.
terms of it.
I think it is.
But I do think you need to talk to the assembly about, constantly, like, suspending the rules, like, why do we have rules if you're suspending them?
Yeah, I think that should be a conversation. Also, I think too, that for the charging of office amongst you two, if it's unable for one of you to get all the bills in by the deadline, both of you need to make it a priority moving forward, so we don't have an issue. Because if they haven't been on, like, on time, then when we're coming then we would. So I feel like, given that it's like somewhat time sensitive, I'm good with voting that way, but I want like, in good faith, acknowledgement that they move forward this meeting.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is like. The second time it's happened all year, and that's just because we.
Yeah,
No, yeah.
No, it makes sense. But,
I mean, yeah, it wasn't. It was an issue. Yeah, definitely.
no, it happens, it's just like, we can finish the rest of the year, hopefully.
It's a bad habit.
Yeah.
Motion to put it on the agenda.
okay.
Second.
Right, second from Sadie. Is there anyone else who objects to this matter being put into the Students' Assembly agenda? Seeing none, the motion carries. All right, next item on our agenda here, a bill to fund the Environs Club, I believe for a camping trip.
It's like 100.
Yeah. Motion to, yeah, and on March 5th, so, yeah, motion to approve from Holly. Do I see a second from Angela? Is there anyone who objects to approving this legislation to go forward to the assembly? Seeing none? Motion carries. All right, and so now we'll go on to the next item on our regular agenda, which is approval of the attached cycle 10 assembly agenda. So let me get through to that there. Oh,
Good questions.
no, like at the end of the day, I can put that in by Monday as long as we have like an idea of where we're getting it from, but yeah.
And are we gonna be really like strict in finding?
Mm.
Everything?
I think part of
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. I guess we'll find out when we get in contact with the individual.
It's a good question. Also,
Always. I mean, it doesn't always be.
I think minutes.
I mean-
Yeah.
Get the round or our next week. We're gonna. Get through everything.
And if you don't do the full minute 30, you never have to, like, just make sure. Yeah. All right, so going through the agenda here, we have our call to order, guest speakers blank for now. We have the officer reports here with Sadie, me, Holly, and Turner having that. We have our consent agenda, which would be the bill to fund KU Gamers, a bill to fund the Hugie Club, and then a bill to fund the Environs Club, all under $1,000. And then after that, we have a bill to fund the University of Kansas STUMO, a bill to fund the Muslim Student Association, Model UN, Jayhawk Motorsports, the required campus fee, and then a bill to reduce duplication and organized funding regs.
Just a quick question.
Yeah,
I have a quick question.
Oh.
There-
Yeah.
Duplication of organized funding regulations, you have.
oh, it didn't pass?
There was no table. Oh.
Mm,
Yeah.
I end so quickly.
Yeah. After maybe they tabled it, and Chris was like, oh, it was just like, you should make. Yeah, I mean, Chris, like, it's not time to do that. Not time to them.
So we don't need to add this. So to me.
yeah,
I do have, well, sorry.
Yeah, so we talked about time. We guys are at loss. If you were to think about the time in terms of the implementation of.
I was gonna say this.
I mean, I'll give a time limit of probably like 20 minutes at the onset. It's up to the assembly what they do after.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, it's best if you just give me 10 to 30 minutes.
30.
I'd say give me 30.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, and then also, he tried to 15 minutes and he said that, and I was like, that is not gonna happen, but 30 is reasonable.
Yeah,
Okay.
Really?
it really was an hour. It 100% it was, because, yeah, there was a lot of reiteration going on and that's one that people.
Yes.
Oh, and I,
Because there's a couple meetings.
Which will come. Again,
Yes, they will come.
it speaks.
Yeah. And but luckily.
okay.
VP.
So do we have the name of the guest speaker that Josepha wanted to bring?
If there was someone from OMA.
Okay. So can we just say, like, if Josepha gets in contact with me, like with the guest speaker, that we'll go ahead and approve that guest speaker to come in?
Yeah.
Because yeah, they were explained, I feel like, thoroughly enough at our last
Yeah.
meeting, more so.
Yeah.
Does everything else on like the agenda look good to everyone? I debated on like where to put fee, but then I know that we usually have the practice of putting student org legislation first, and so, yeah. And definitely wouldn't want fee to end up taking over the whole conversation at the onset before we get those passed. Yeah. All right, so do I have an emotion to approve this agenda? Motion from Angela, I saw a second from Zachariah. And do we have any objections? All right, seeing none. That regular agenda is passed there. Is there any other business that anyone would like to discuss before we adjourn? Oh, let's see. Holly, would you like to go first?
Yeah, the accessibility for graduate students.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know we talked about it a lot last time, so for the plan for it. So I'm not like, is there also anything, but is it still okay if they just watch online and vote?
Yeah, and Nathaniel's announcement is actually probably going to clear that up as well
Oh,
in regards to that.
sorry, Nathaniel, I took,
I didn't.
anyway,
Huh?
Didn't know.
Oh, I thought you were going to make an announcement in regards to it.
I wasn't planning to, I guess I can.
Mhm.
Okay, well.
Well, you raised your hand.
Yeah, but that was about something else.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna have to take minutes.
All right.
Okay,
Can you also plug this in? Don't want this to die on us like it did last time. Frankly.
okay, so I guess in relation to the grads, I will make an announcement about that. As long as their votes show up on the record, they don't even have to be the person.
Okay,
And then I guess if they have questions, they should post them to you because
yeah,
we can't really just be like.
no, I
bouncing
can,
back
I
and
can do
forth.
that.
And then I guess I didn't get them in for this StudEx, but we'll probably next StudEx. We have some more people to remove, but I did want to just like run it by and see if we should even approve these people, like I guess get like preliminary votes. So like the four people we have right now is Alex Liddell, Riley Moreland, and Maria Squaw and Kamal Carr. So I was wondering, does anyone have anything to say about these people?
Yeah, Riley, that's very
She had like, I think 2 conflicts. In the very beginning, this month, her, where like legitimately gonna come. I told her about it.
Yes,
But I'm going to, she's probably 3 total.
Yeah, one person is at 3, so.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
But she's supposed to be involved, like she like actually came last week and stayed for a whole meeting. And so she took me over the rest of this.
I think also I saw her, like, for the last school assembly, I saw her in the claims and. She mentioned to me that she had to work that night, she had like a work.
Like an event, like a big event.
Yeah, and I told her to email you, but I don't know if she, it came across to me that she thought that work wasn't a valid excuse. And I
It's
told her
not.
it's not.
It's not on the Constitution, work is on.
Excuse me. No, I like it.
Well, I mean, people schedule their shifts.
Yeah, it's so, it's one of those, this is great, like people spend their shift, but like. Sometimes you manage for events, thinking about.
It wasn't that,
But it's still not a big organization, which is not a blind spot.
yeah, which is maybe, like, I call all the.
So I guess any thoughts with?
Oh,
I
sorry.
don't know if the other people are on high schools.
Alex is also. That looks really like.
That's the Skull Hall rep.
Ah.
One thing. Just.
You're thinking of Emma Athrin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big.
That's the All Scholarship Hall Council person.
Yeah.
That's one of them states, ASHC.
Okay. Yes, go on.
Yeah, one of them under like the geographic. They wanted like deep words.
Have we adjourned?
You know,
I have a question for
alrighty. And yeah, I guess like I will ask a question to StudEx, like, is the absence policy something that we even want to enforce for the rest of the year? For student senators?
So should I even be, depends on.
I feel like it's a lot of stress on you and there's like,
Not a lot of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I think that exec will just go ahead and like stop tracking attendance for senators, and if quorum issues hit councils and assembly, then yeah, we'll deal with it then.
But yeah, continuous tracking, just doing like, trying to get more into it, which is like.
We should make sure though that people are voting.
You guys want to talk about this? What happened with the council assignment lists? I noticed there were people that came to rights that said they were always partially justice and did request a change. And we had trouble hitting quorum. There were more people on our list.
What were the members?
Yeah, who were they?
Oh, people like Robert Apple.
Yeah.
That was just one that I saw him that day.
Oh, those might have been senators that never notified of a change once they were like assigned, because everyone got assigned at like the beginning of the year, because like if you didn't choose a council, it was just given to you, and then you were told to change it like anytime throughout the year. And so if they haven't changed that formally, then they just need to email Nathaniel with like what their new council assignment they would like to have.
Yeah, we also assigned the new senators from the last assembly to councils, so that was probably also why your list got bigger.
They just didn't show up. I think that's.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was like another thing that we talked about in rights, was that a ton of people are not on that email list, so they just simply did not know
Yeah.
that they were A, assigned to a council, B, maybe the next council meeting, so give to the chair, like, have them like take attendance, and then submit their attendance list to being and get another whole.
Yeah, I think we could get the chairs to take like physical attendance lists.
Yeah.
That'd be better.
Yeah. And then they just pass that along and they just get like, okay, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something to consider. All right, any other business? Holly, motion to adjourn. Second, anyone? Angela? Do we have anything else? Any other objections? No? This meeting is adjourned.
No, I have a question.